Hi, this is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for education and technology. So 2 days ago, when I share on the fees issue from heart, I share some footwork because that is a must if we want to talk about the short strike art or the Wing Chun 1850s. And after that, I have already received many messages from our Wing Chun friends. And these friends have a common denominator. They told me this. Well, Hendrik, the triangle steps or this step or that steps you share with us in the YouTube doesn't look like what I learned from the 1960 version of Wing Chun. Well, so today I like to share with you, it is a disaster try to map things into the 1960 Wing Chun. As just a few videos ago, I said that if we want to learn the programming in today's computer, don't try to map those language into Fortran or Kobo or anything, because it is a different type of programming language. We want to study it as it is. Otherwise, one never learn. Well, in the 1960s versions of footwork, it can be whatever it is. But that is for sure not what the Shaolin Short Strikes teaching is about. So one needs the Restricting Wing Chun, the book, to know what is going on. The first thing of footwork is not dance steps. Footwork is not walking with some kind of pattern. Footwork is different way of handling the impulse momentum. Okay? So if you want to handle your impulse momentum, the first you need to have the functional training. As in chapter 5 in the Restricting Wing Chun, you need to know how to handle the impulse momentum, moving forward, backward, turning, those kind of stuff. And of course, this calls for the pairing of the torso and the leg, such as in chapter 3 of Shaolin Short Strike. You need that. So only if you have this developed, you'll be able to handle the momentum in the basic forward, backward, turn. Then one can talk about footwork. Otherwise, it is useless because one don't have the foundations. And also, when you do a footwork forward, backward, for sure you're going to have your torso and leg pairing. Otherwise, you don't have that impulse momentum generated. And of course, one needs to have the recycling of momentum, like I shared in last video. And that's in the chapter 6 of the Restricting Wing Chun. If this basic is not proficient, forget about footwork. Your plum flower footwork is just to handle the momentum, such as I want to go forward, I want to go in the side, I want to go in the back of the opponent. It's just that. So it is very different than today. A triangle step, you have this triangle, some kinds of triangle, different people interpret different things. A plum flower is walking around your wooden dummy. It's not that. That's why in Restricting Wing Chun, I share you have different range of that handling of the footwork. you have to have the basic and so forth. So this is the reality. If you don't have the functional training of handling the impulse momentum, forward, backward, turning, very basic. If one don't have the handling of the recycling momentum, then forget about footwork. It's just a dance. Okay? So I like to share this today with you is, let's not keeping saying, oh, I want to learn the 1850s Wing Chun, and then but how come it is very different than the 1960s as how I was taught in these steps and so forth? Well, it is complete different thing. Does the 1960s talk about momentum handling? The functional training for the momentum? Like it is in the restricting Wing Chun? Does the 1960s Wing Chun talk about the recycling of momentum? Actually, 1960s Wing Chun is actually doing an opposite. You look at all your Cham Kyu sets, dragging that back feet. What is that? That is not recycling momentum at all. So it is a completely different things. So we cannot just try to map this and then asking me, oh, how come this is very different than how my teacher teach me? Well, how can I know what your teacher teach me? Today, if you look into the YouTube, how many triangle footworks or this footwork or that footwork is. So again, if you want to learn something, base it on what the ancient is talking about, the processes and the requirement, all those stuff. Don't jump gun into here, jump gun, and then you will never learn anything, but you will only learning terms, and you cannot say, oh, the ancient 1850s Wing Chun or the Southern Short Track walk this way, and we walk this way too. Wait a minute, do you have that functional training of handling the impulse momentum at high speed and using that recycling momentum handling? If you don't, well, we can walk the same way, but forward and backward, but you don't have that content there. So it is a different animal, and the footwork is the entire plum flower footwork in a very simple way, just moving forward, backward, moving sideways, lateral in. So this is a direct rattler in, or horizontal rattler, and then moving from the back, straight rattler, moving from back, from this tree. That is the basic of the entire thing. So it's like the Western boxing. You have your jab, your cross, your hook. In the plum flower is forward, backward, rattler. Forward, backward is the direct, lateral is the Z steps, angling in. And then the triangle, which is moved to the back of your opponent. But the issue is not that step. The issue is that you need to be able to handle your impulse momentum before you can get proficiency or make sense of the steps. So hopefully this answers the questions for all our friends. Seriously, 1960s Wing Chun do not have this impulse momentum handling. It doesn't. That's why I said the Cham Kyu. You are dragging your body. How can that have impulse momentum? And that is not according to what the ancient Shaolin short track teaching or the 1850s teaching. So here I'm not saying that who is good or bad, I'm just saying that it is not the same thing. So looking at the pattern of the steps without having the functional training and the impulse momentum handling, one really, just like looking at the car, at the surface, one don't know what is internal there. So this has to be careful, okay? Otherwise we don't learn things.